Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Welcome to Ask Rob and Rob. It's that time again. We've got more questions and more answers coming up. We've got a couple of really interesting ones this week. So we're not going to leave you waiting long till you can hear those, but it is worth, first of all, giving you a quick reminder of how to send in your own wonderful question.
Yes, you can go to our lovely shiny website, propertyhub.net/ask, and leave a message there. Or you can call this very special number, which will then mean that in the office, a big red phone will light up and no one will answer and it'll get sent to a voicemail. But that's all you need to do. You call 013-808-00035 and you will get to that very special voicemail. And that means you'll appear on the show, just like Jeff is about to now.
Hey Rob and Rob, it's Jeff calling from London. Thanks a lot for all the content over the years, keeping me motivated as me and my mate go and buy our first property together in Hoggeston. So it's listed on a company online called Move Blocks, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I'm going to be disparaging by saying their name, but they're asking for this buyer's premium, which is $8,154, including VAT, that's required to purchase the property. And it was quite a surprise to me. And it's in addition to the mortgage. So I just really wanted to get your experience and sort of knowledge on if you've heard of anyone doing this. You probably have, but has it always worked out well? Can it be trusted? Is the buyer's interest baked into the process? So there's three questions there, basically, but hopefully you can answer them. Thanks a lot again, and look forward to hearing your response.
Thank you, Jeff. Really good question. Buyer's premium is something that's not common, but it's not super rare either. And it's actually becoming a little bit more common. And you don't have to worry about disparaging a platform because it's not a platform's decision. It's the agent's decision. So why does a buyer's premium exist? Well, in its simplest form, it's a way of shifting the selling costs from the seller to the buyer. So normally, if you go buy a property, you won't pay the agent anything, and the seller will pay them some kind of commission, which is normally a percentage of the property's value. There are some circumstances where the seller is either unable or unwilling to pay those costs, or where the agent, to win the business, says that they don't have to pay those costs and they'll charge the buyer instead. So you see it occasionally with repossessions. You also see it a lot down the cheaper end of the market. And there are two reasons for that. One is that the seller often will need to keep everything that they can from the sale. And the other is that if the agent is taking a percentage of a cheap property, there's not going to be that much in it for them. But if they charge a buyer's premium, so call it something else and charge it to someone else, then they can justify charging more. So I wouldn't mind betting that the premium that you're being asked to pay there is, in percentage terms, a fairly large one of the property's value compared to if it was a straightforward sales fee. So that's what it is. What does it mean to you? Well, there are a couple of things to consider. The first one is that you need to basically add that cost to your purchase price and see if you're still happy with the purchase price at that level. Because like I said, if you're buying a normal property, that fee wouldn't exist. So if you had two equivalent properties, one of which had the buyer's premium and one didn't, then clearly you'd be wanting to buy the one that didn't. So if you were in that situation, then this property would need to get you a better deal than any other. So effectively, it's an extra cost. It's the same as if you had to spend that money doing up the property just to get it back up to standard. So add that to the purchase price, and does the purchase still make sense when you add that on top? If it does, so you're still happy with the price that you're paying, then the other thing to look at is the circumstances in which you get that premium back. This is really important because often you have to pay it immediately. And it's also not uncommon to start proceeding with a purchase. Then something comes up during the legal process that wasn't disclosed, or maybe that nobody even knew about, then you need to pull out of the purchase as a result. Normally, all you would lose is your time and some legal fees. But in this situation, you've also paid the buyer's premium. So will you get it back in that circumstance? Read the small print carefully to see what it says, and also do a bit of digging into the company itself, into the agent, to see what their reputation is like. Do they seem like a company that's going to make that difficult for you, even if contractually you're able to? Are there negative reviews about them anywhere? These are the kinds of things to look at. Paying this premium, if you are required to pay it upfront, does put you at more risk. But it's just another variable to include in making your investment decision. When taking that risk into account and taking the extra cost into account, is it still a good deal? Is it still the best deal that you can be doing? That's a question that we can't answer for you, Jeff, but hopefully now you understand what you need to be thinking about.
Thanks, Jeff. Next up, we've got a question in from Katie.
Hi, Rob and Rob. Thank you so much for your podcast. I absolutely love it. I'm obviously from the States. I would love to know your opinion on Dave Ramsey and the approach of buying investment property cash only, all cash. And can you give, like, if you had to give a list of positives of buying all cash, and then, of course, the kind of mathematical, financial negatives to that. But in your opinions, is there ever a time when buying cash is actually the better thing to do? Thank you so much.
Katie, controversial. Should we avoid this subject? No, far from it. I think we need to do a full property podcast episode on this. Because Dave Ramsey, for those who don't know, is a well-respected personal finance figure in the US. And a lot of people will consume his information here in the UK as well. And for those who aren't familiar with his view on property, is that you should buy cash with no exceptions. He believes that debt is bad and there is no such thing as good debt. Well, that's quite an interesting view, and it's a view that we are going to tackle on Thursday. And we're not just going to give our opinions, we're going to back it up with real numbers. So Thursday's podcast episode is a must listen to. We're going to look at Dave Ramsey, his views on property investment, and then give our views and come to a conclusion. Will it be that we agree? Will it be a disagree or something in between? Well, you might have your guesses, but you can find out on Thursday. So make sure you join us for that episode. It's going to be a cracker. And we'll be back next Tuesday with Ask Rob and Rob as well. So until then, take care, have fun, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.